Hey there, folks, and good afternoon. Welcome to today's edition of Instagram Live with our site directors. My name is Chris Batchelder. I'm the Student Advising Coordinator here at CISabroad, and I also work on site in Rome during the summer to help out students and interns. And today we are going to be talking a little bit with our internship coordinator, Will Osborne, who also helps interns over in Rome. So we're going to have Will join us today. Hey there, Will.
Hello,
how's it
Chris.
going?
How are you?
Good to see you. Good. Thanks. I was just explaining a little bit about your role over in Rome as the intern coordinator. Would you like to explain a bit what your role is in Rome?
Absolutely, sure. So my role here in Rome is to act as a support person for all the students we get in the Eternal City who work here for the semester or during the summer. So I help organize weekly day trips. I am in contact with internship supervisors, and I have weekly chats with all interns where I talk about how things are going at work, and I make sure that there's communication between the interns and their supervisors.
All right, excellent. Well, it sounds like that you provide a really important service for students while in Rome, especially with the language barrier that can be there occasionally. I'm sure that with what you do, definitely is very important when you help with that communication.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and most of the internships that our students do are run by local Italians. So I provide the language support when needed.
Excellent. And would you is it necessary for an intern, for instance, when they apply for the Intern in Rome program, would you say it's mandatory that they need to know Italian in order to apply?
No, it's not mandatory. Most of our interns don't speak Italian. We have some interns who speak a little bit of Italian, and it's always helpful if you do, but it's definitely not a requirement. All the companies we work with, all the organizations we work with have staff who are fluent in English. So there's always, we always make sure that the supervisor that each student gets is fluent in English, just in case.
All right, that's very good to know, and I'm sure that's going to help a lot of new applicants feel pretty comfortable when first arriving into Rome. Naturally, there's going to be that language barrier and occasional challenge and discomfort, but after all, that's the whole point of the international intern experience, isn't it?
Absolutely. Lots of our interns end up leaving Rome with a little bit of Italian language skills.
Very good. And I know when you ask the Global Advising Center, like here in the office before applying, we're more than happy to give free tools to help students learn a bit of Italian before they go abroad. Lots of free resources out there, and we're more than happy to help give those to students before they arrive. But while they are in Rome, you're there to pick them up from the airport that very first day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll also be there on the first day, both on the pickup day. So I'll be at the airport to welcome our students in Rome, and then I'll also accompany each student to their internship. So their first day, I'll be one taking the first picture on their job, and also I'll be there to introduce the student to their new supervisor.
Now, Will, I probably should have started our conversation with Buona Festa. After all, today is a holiday, right?
Absolutely. Today is Festa della Liberazione. So April 25th is a national holiday here. Today in Italy, we remember Liberazione. So the day in history, in 1945, when Italy was finally liberated from fascism. So between the Allied troops who landed in Italy and the partisans who fought for Italian liberation, we commemorate this important date for our history every year with a day off for everyone working both in the private sector and in the public sector.
Very good. And I understand that the beach where the Allies first landed was close to Rome, wasn't it? Like over in Anzio?
Yes. So the beach was in Anzio, which is about 25 kilometers away from Rome. The first troops landed in Sicily, and then they drove up from Sicily up the boot. But a second expedition landed in Anzio. And Rome was actually the first city to be, the first European capital to be liberated by U.S. troops.
Well, there you go. Bit of history right there. So April 25th then. And there was also a really big holiday week just the week it was last week I think with Easter.
Yes, Easter week is a very important holiday in Italy, but because most of the population is Roman Catholic, but also because the Pope is here in Rome, as many of you probably know. So during Easter week, the city is full of tourists from all over the world. We get tourists from most of the world's countries, and they come attend the Easter masses that are held almost every day at the Vatican. So we have a Good Friday Mass, which is very important, and then a Via Crucis, which remembers the day when Jesus Christ was crucified, and then a big Sunday Mass at St. Peter's in the Vatican State on Sunday. And usually people get to see the Pope.
Or did you make it down there for that?
I was not able to attend this year, but I attended Palm Sunday, which is the Sunday before Easter.
And with all the activity around, like being Easter Sunday in the middle of Rome, like was it still like pretty easy to get around, or was like the traffic like really like congested?
The traffic was a little bit worse than usual, but it was definitely easy to travel around Rome. Rome is an excellent city if you like walking, because it's pretty compact. So all the most important monuments, buildings, and everything that's of interest to most people who move to Rome are in the city center. So it's easy to walk from one area and from one area to the next by on foot. So it's definitely a great walking city, and Rome also has an excellent weather all year round. So it's really pleasant to walk around Rome.
All right, excellent. And you can even see like Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, Piazza Navona in one day too, since they're close to each other. From what I've understood, it's pretty easy to walk and see everything in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah, everything is definitely close by, and there is so much to see. There's almost 100 museums in Rome, so you could potentially see different art pieces almost every day during your stay here in Rome.
Mm-hmm. My favorite in particular is the Borghese Gallery in the up in the northern part of the city. That's my personal favorite. I know one common question that that we get in the advising center is like how the public transportation works and how like the whole membership thing works with using the like the trains and buses.
Absolutely. So Rome has various forms of public transportation. We have a metro line with several stops in the city center. We have trams, which run from north to south, so a few tram lines, and then we have buses. Rome is also very well connected to two major airports that are useful in case you'd like to travel around Europe. And also Rome is very well connected by train. So potentially from the city of Rome, you can travel almost everywhere in Italy with only 3 or 4 hours.
Pretty easily, since Rome is in the center, you can get from one area to the other.
Absolutely. So Rome is about an hour 30 minutes from Florence by train, and then about an hour 20 minutes to Naples. While Venice is about 3 hours away, and Milan is also about 3 hours away.
All right, so pretty much like right in the center, like so to speak. And with all the flights that come out of Fiumicino and Ciampino, you could get to Greece, you could go to like Spain, England, even like Morocco, or as far as like Turkey if anybody wanted to travel around a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rome is a very well-connected city, I think.
Would you be able to talk a little bit about some of the day trips that interns get to do?
Absolutely. So there are some beautiful volcanic hills just south of the city, and these hills have a beautiful palace which used to be owned by the Pope. So we organize a trip to these hills, usually once a semester, and our students get to see the papal villas. And there's also a volcanic lake in this town, and students get to walk around the lake and usually enjoy a delicious meal with an excellent view of this lake. And then
that is Castel Gandolfo,
correct. So
right?
that's Castel Gandolfo. And then we recommend students also go visit the beach, especially in the summer months when it's warm outside. Because Rome, even though Rome is not a seaside city, the beach is actually very close. It's only a 30-minute train ride from the city center. Rome is also very well connected to Tuscany. So we tend to recommend students also visit southern Tuscany. And if there's anyone who's interested in hiking, there's a beautiful road called Via Francigena, which connects northern Europe to Rome. And you can hike on this Via Francigena, and you can take a pilgrimage from the cities north of Rome to Rome. I had the opportunity of walking the Via Francigena a few years ago. I walked the last 12 days of this via from the city of Siena in southern Tuscany to Rome. It was an amazing experience. Highly recommended, especially for people who would like to travel before or after their internship experience.
That sounds like a lot of fun. How many days would you recommend that somebody budgets in to do a walk?
I would recommend about 4 or 5 days. In 4 or 5 days, you're able to see a good chunk of what this via is able to show. But I've heard of people who've walked the entire thing. Just remember, though, that when you come to Italy, you have a 90-day stay maximum, so you can only stay up to 90 days in the country. So remember to budget that in your time. So calculate the number of weeks you'll be interning, and then add the remaining time and see if you can stay under 90 days. Otherwise, you'll need a special visa to stay longer.
Absolutely. That's some really helpful information to know, Will, about the Schengen tourist visa when students first arrive. Like if they were to arrive on their US visa, as soon as they enter that Schengen region, they get that stamp, and then that 90 days starts ticking from there. And I think the internships can last anywhere from 8 weeks, to 12 weeks, depending on what the options are. So that's always going to allow a little bit more time, either before the program or after the program, in case students and interns wanted to do some independent traveling at that point. So that's definitely an option.
Mm-hmm. And we make sure that the students work 4 days a week instead of 5, so they can have an extra day to add to the weekend for traveling. So lots of our interns like to travel on the weekend, so they usually pick a European destination, and from one of the airports in Rome, you can travel virtually everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And usually interns will intern Monday to Thursday, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right, excellent. Were there any other details about the intern in Rome program that you would like to add for our listeners today?
So we accept interns in all possible subjects. So Rome is a major city in Europe, so we have all sorts of businesses and organizations interested in interns here. So if you think you'd love to intern in Rome, but you're not sure if Rome might offer what you're looking for, just let us know, and we can tell you.
You can call us up, and our number is always 877-617-9090, and that's toll free right on our website, and you can chat with us as well too, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. So thank you, Will, very much for your time, and on a holiday as well. We appreciate your openness to chatting with us a bit more about Rome today.
Pleasure to talk with you, Chris. Ciao da Roma.
Ciao da Northampton. Grazie.
Ciao, ciao.